All right, Greybox sessions. There we go. We are going to go over what our country is going to allow in terms of opening up and allowing us to operate under our traditional freedoms. And what I mean by that is this sense of normalcy that everybody's really trying to get to. And you know, of course we all have our opinions about what we think should happen, and other states are doing different things when it comes to the virus and vaccines and masks and all the stuff that goes along with kind of what's happening now. But I'm not sure that people have actually watched, listened, or have heard the address that President Biden gave. Again, it's his first kind of in front of the camera address in a more formal way. There's been no State of the Union yet. There's been no press conference yet. And I would just say that there is no press conference because, let me relate it this way to my friends that are staunch Trump supporters. Now, there's this thing that's happened for several years. This is the dilemma of the taxes of Donald Trump. And everybody apparently wants to see him. Nobody has seen him. There's been allegations that they have been seen, and he paid like $700-800 last year or in 2019 or something like that. So, and he would say that he's paid more taxes than anybody could ever imagine, which is probably true. He's probably paid a lot of taxes as well. So just to encapsulate this thought, the reason Joe Biden isn't doing press conferences is the same reason Donald Trump isn't showing his taxes. Why? Because it would look bad for both of them. Joe Biden clearly is gonzo beans. It's really sad. I find it hard to even make fun of the guy because you kind of walk this line of he is our president, and he's clearly lost a lot of what's going on up in the upper region of his brain, and it's sad. And it's frustrating for the side that didn't want him to be president. But nonetheless, he is the guy. And so I find it hard to make fun of him because it is really a sad situation. Do I think he's a good president? I think time will tell. I think his policies and what's going on thus far doesn't seem to be great by any stretch. We've got a border issue. We've got, the continuation of spending. Think about this and understand where you're sitting, because when Donald Trump was spending like crazy, you didn't say anything. And now that Joe Biden's spending like crazy, you're up in arms. So think about it. Both in terms of this pandemic, we've just been spending like crazy. And as I've said in previous podcasts, if you are eligible and you get the stimulus, I can't blame you for wanting it, needing it, or utilizing it, or any of that stuff, because I think that there's people that need it and that are utilizing it, and that like that is a very big, important part of surviving this thing. So, but understand that when Donald Trump was spending like crazy, you didn't say anything. And now we're spending like crazy again, and now you're saying something. So the reason Joe Biden isn't doing press conferences and taking questions I mean, there's been several instances where it's supposedly cuts to questioning and the feed cuts or he just kind of slowly backs away, this weird kind of backing away. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. I mean, I've had the thought that Kamala Harris will be the president within 6 months. We're a few months in, I guess. Oh well, not a few, a couple months in, and it looks as though that's going to be coming soon. So, what I wanted to hit here, because I don't think most people have watched, heard, or listened to kind of these 5 things that need to happen. We'll just take them, and I'm going to try to have a view of this. I actually haven't seen all of this, so it's going to be more of a reactionary situation. So if you're listening, this is on YouTube, and you can watch, kind of this reaction. Go to Graybox Podcast YouTube channel, and you can watch it there. Or if you're just listening, we're just going to listen to it together and listen to these. I believe there's 5 steps, 5 things that need to happen, or 5, I don't know, things that we need to do to to get to some sense of normalcy, I guess. That's what we're all looking for when it comes to this situation. That's what we're looking for. We all have opinions about what we should and shouldn't do, and again, I said states do different things, but we all kind of fall into this category of we'd like to just get back to normal in whatever frame or sense of that word that means. I think these are the 5 steps or things that we need to do.
I want to talk about the next steps we're thinking about. First, tonight, I'm announcing that I will direct all states, tribes, and territories to make all adults, people 18 and over, eligible to be vaccinated no later than May 1. Let me say that again. All adult Americans will be eligible to get a vaccine no later than May 1. That's much earlier than expected. Let me be clear.
Again, because I have a hard time concentrating, the thing that jumped out to me was that he said May 1. Normally you'd say May 1st, but that's what happens when you read a teleprompter. No issue with the fact that he's reading a teleprompter, but maybe just an issue with his writers, and those that produce this may want to put May 1st on there. Type it out in copy when you're doing like a commercial, a radio commercial. Oftentimes you'll spell the entirety of it out. Maybe that would have been better here instead of saying May 1. Just doesn't look good, especially when you already look like, and again, I say this with respect, I mean, you do look like a deer in the headlights. It's really unfortunate.
That doesn't mean everyone's going to have that shot immediately, but it means you'll be able to get in line beginning May 1. Every adult will be eligible to get their shot. And to do this, we're going to go from 1 million shots a day that I promised in December, before I was sworn in, to beating our current pace of 2 million shots a day.
Okay, so here's the interesting thing. The stat that goes out quite often is that they were going to do 1 million shots a day. They were already doing that with the previous administration. It's just that was happening before, or real close to that. This is an amazing thing that happens with presidents. He'll take the credit for all of this stuff. President Trump took a lot of credit for what President accomplished, but as soon as they sit in office, it's a weird thing that they can't. We've come to a place now where President Biden can't acknowledge the successes of the predecessor, though, Donald Trump. It's a weird thing that we can't, or he can't say, or we're in such a divisive climate that we can't acknowledge. Again, this was the miracle the vaccine was the miracle that was needed that couldn't happen. And now that we have it, it's hard for the other side to acknowledge that fact. And so he'll take credit for it all, and that's what happens when you win.
outpacing the rest of the world. Second,
Look, if you love the vaccine, which again, remember in the vice presidential debate, Kamala Harris was in many ways encouraging people not to take the vaccine because it came from Donald Trump. This was when, and Mike Pence, he kind of called her out and said, hey, it's really dangerous for you to be encouraging people to question the vaccine and the science behind it because of the man in office. And yet you're not allowed to question the vaccine now. It's a really precarious situation. So as you're listening here, think about these things. I know that people that listen to this podcast are on both sides, in the middle, kind of. So just think about some of the stuff, and you may be thinking, "Oh no, 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 no." That's what's interesting about these things is you say some opinions, and man, people just really don't like your opinions, but yet they love to listen to them. So this is the second.
At the time when every adult is eligible in May, we will launch with our partners new tools to make it easier for you to find the vaccine and where to get the shot, including a new website that will help you first find the place to get vaccinated and the one nearest you. No more searching day and night for an appointment for you and your loved ones.
Are people doing that? Searching day and night? I don't know. I think that's a good thing. It's good to make it easier and more available for people to obtain the vaccine if that's what they want to do. I think that's probably a good thing. Something that's overarching on this that really is troublesome is, and I would say this regardless of who's in office, is the push without reservation. Just this last week, any post on Facebook platforms, so Instagram and Facebook, it's wild that they're involved in this. If it has anything to do with the vaccine, a disclaimer, they're kind of their banner at the bottom. It's really interesting, and so to think about where the money goes on this is really bizarre. Obviously, you've heard commercials and you watch TV and you see this stuff where if there's a drug or a pill or something that comes out, it takes 10 years and then it's just a litany of things that this could cause death, this could cause this could cause all the horrible things that you could think of for these drugs. And yet this is one of those things that's amazing that has no restriction on it. We came up with it in 7 months, and now it's being distributed widely. It's an amazing thing. So as you listen, as you think, as you use your mind as an independent person, think about this stuff. It's not about, being anti-vaccination or pro-vaccination. It's not about that. It's about saying, this is interesting how when I see commercials, these funny commercials about certain things, there's this litany of disclaimer that they have to give to you. And this vaccine is one of a situation where celebrities are getting paid. People are getting paid to post them getting the vaccination on social media sites. And yet, if you say something against the vaccine, your post gets a banner across it. If you say anything about it, I made a post, a podcast that I just did with Neil from the band Royal Bliss, and I just said we talked about COVID in the music industry, what it's done to him, and then I got the little disclaimer, COVID disclaimer, learning about COVID. It's a wild thing. It's a wild thing people get paid to essentially peddle a vaccine if you oppose the vaccine or just try to push some content that may question its efficacy or its dangers. It's essentially has a banner of like, don't listen to this. Nothing to see here. So again, it's just a weird, precarious situation we're sitting in. And I challenge you. I'm talking to those that think this is stupid that I would even bring this up. It's time to start thinking about that stuff. It's time to start being independent and start saying, looking inward and saying, am I one of those people that was that looks at something only through my own prism, only through my own echo chamber? Facebook, all the social media sites, they are designed to keep us in our echo chambers. It's a
Thirdly,
highly peddled vaccine.
with the passage of the American Rescue Plan, and I thank again the House and Senate for passing it, and my announcement last month of a plan to vaccinate teachers and school staff, including bus drivers, we can
I think this is already being done.
accelerate.
My kids' school, the parents were, or I mean, excuse me, the teachers and everybody was eligible for the vaccine several weeks ago. I just don't. There's a disconnection sometimes with federal government and state government, where certain governments, as far as your state, is already executing these things, and then the federal government comes out as if they are introducing something new. It's a really wild thing.
Massive nationwide effort to reopen our schools safely. And
This is a really bizarre one that the schools aren't open. My kids' schools have been open. Um, Many schools where we're here in Utah have been open. So uh, I don't, I don't, we don't experience this kind of this what's going on here in terms of schools being closed. So it's something that's not really big here in our state, but uh, I've asked several. When I say several, a few people, and I've looked myself, and you're more than welcome to send it to me. You can just direct message me through Instagram um, or through Facebook on the Gray Box Podcast. So currently, there's no. I haven't seen any cases where kids transferred it to a teacher, and then a big outbreak, and then it caused hospitalization and deaths and a bunch of things like that. So it's primarily coming from adults to adults. And so this is one of those things, and I could be totally wrong, but I just haven't been able to see anything or find anything that that validates that this is coming from kids and transmissed by kids at a rapid rate.
my goal that I stated at the same time, about 100 million shots, of opening a majority of K through 8 schools in my first 100 days in office. This is going to be the #1 priority of my new Secretary of Education, Miguel Cardona. Fourth,
Kind of feel
in
like
the coming
who it was. Oh.
weeks, we will issue further guidance on what you can and cannot do once fully vaccinated.
Okay. Yeah, this is where it goes a little bit south for me. Let's listen. Oh, let me listen to a little bit more, but I have not heard this part.
To lessen the confusion, to keep people safe, and encourage more people to get vaccinated.
Ooh, this one's hard. Let me go back a little bit. I want to see. This one's hard. So just pay attention here.
On what you can and cannot do once fully vaccinated. To lessen the confusion, to keep people safe, and encourage more people to get vaccinated.
So think about ooh, how do you be how do you be diplomatic about that? So we're saying, mm, mm, we're going to tell you what you can and can't do once vaccinated. I'm trying to let that marinate a little bit. I apologize. Again, I haven't really listened to this and seen it, but I wanted it to be I wanted this to be a true reaction of this. Um, hmm, man, I just want to internalize that. I want people to internalize that. We're saying what you can and can't do. So the premise is everybody needs to be vaccinated so we can eradicate the virus. Straight up. Everybody needs to be vaccinated so we can eradicate the virus. And then we'll let you know what you can and can't do once you've taken the virus or been vaccinated. Doesn't that seem wrong? Think about it as just as a freedom loving person. Maybe you don't love freedom, but I'm pretty sure you do. That seems really, really bad. Let's just call it that. That seems really bad. Think, you know, we're about being open here and about listening to things and about trying to figure it out. But
And finally, fifth, and maybe most importantly, I promise I will do everything in my power.
okay,
I will not relent until we beat this virus.
it's not going to be beat.
But I need.
Okay, there's the misconception. What's beat? Uh, as we've all come to understand, this is what's amazing is we all have learned and understand and know now a little bit more about viruses, a little bit more about diseases, a little bit more about all this stuff. And it's this, by all accounts, is something that's going to linger and stay and kind of be a seasonal thing. And so, what does beat the virus mean? Does beat the virus mean everybody's vaccinated? Does beat the virus mean no cases ever again? Does beat the virus mean nobody's hospitalized? What does beat the virus mean? That's the interesting thing about this. So we have to again be careful of that.
You, the American people, I need you.
Okay.
I need every American to do their part. That's not hyperbole. I need you.
What's our
I
part?
need you to get vaccinated when it's your turn and when you can find an opportunity.
Oh, again, we go down that road of danger, danger, danger. Again, not anti-vaccination. My kids have been vaccinated primarily. Um, whew. You got to think about this as an independent human being. It has to be thought about as an independent human being. You can't think about this in the echo chamber of your political beliefs. You have to think about this as, and it's not about saving the next person next to you or or it's not about that kind of stuff. That is a element, and I'm not saying it's not an element to this situation. There is an element of protecting those around you. There is an element of that. I understand that, but the premise is extraordinarily problematic to me. This push is problematic. That's what I'm saying. I'll reiterate, when this thing first came out a year ago, we took our kids out of school early before school shut down. Okay? We did not go to family events. We hunkered down. We did the things. We were prudent. We were safe. We were careful because we didn't know what the heck was going on. Think about anyway. So, but we did educate ourselves to the greatest extent we could. And we are looking at all these things and we start to think, okay, now we know X, Y, Z. We know all these elements. We know things are, masks can help in certain circumstances, it seems. Social distancing can help in certain circumstances, it seems. Um, had a podcast interview with Dr. Wood. He talked about kind of our breath ring that's around us, that can kind of spread these types of viruses, not just this one, but other ones. So we educate ourselves about those types of things. We learn about those things. We also learn that most people aren't affected by it, but we do learn that people's lives have been devastated by it. So it's all these things. So understand that we're all evolving here, but we're also independent. We're also thinking, and we're also not holding each other up at unreasonable standards. In other words, we're not saying you have to do this, but I can do this occasionally. You know, uh, let's see what he has to say to wrap this up here.
And to help your family, your friends, your neighbors get vaccinated as well. Because here's the point.
We don't. Get back.
If we do all this,
Okay.
if we do our part,
We're looking for.
if we do this together, by July the 4th, there's a good chance you, your families, and friends will be able to get together in your backyard or in your neighborhood and have a cookout and a barbecue and celebrate Independence Day. That doesn't.
Again. Oh boy. I apologize because I haven't really gone through this, but I want it to be organic. But think about this. Holy cow. And I've seen posts about this and I've seen people talking about this, but I just haven't, I haven't watched, listened, and internalized it. Are you okay with this? Are you good with that? Are you good with the president of the United States to say, essentially, we'll allow you to gather together? I mean, we've done so many crazy things in 2020. I get that, but are we okay with it? This methodology, this mentality that we are looking to the federal government to allow us, or our local governments to allow us to do things. He's saying you might be able to get together on the 4th of July to have a cookout. The 4th of July is Independence Day. I mean, think about it. Let it sink in. What the heck is happening? I can't believe this is happening. And I'm not saying it could. I mean, this could have happened. Maybe Donald Trump would have said the same thing. I'm not sure, but wow.
In large events with lots of people together, but it does mean small groups will be able to get together.
Okay, so okay. So now there's a limit to it.
After this long, hard year, that will make this Independence Day something truly special.
Okay. Woo. That's a hard one, man. Think about it. I wanted to play that so that we could actually listen to it, hear it. I don't know that many of us, I say many of us, but I don't know that a lot of people are really, I mean, by all accounts, people are watching it and people hate it. If you simply just look at the White House's YouTube channel, if you simply look at the reactions, it's overwhelmingly adverse to the administration. So that's an interesting tidbit. So just in conjunction to this, just to add some context here. So and I say peddle a vaccine. In my estimation, it is peddling a vaccine. I think it's really, really important that we're educated about the vaccine, but I also think it's important to allow people to to make a decision. And that's on both sides. If you don't want to get a vaccine, great. If you do want to get the vaccine, great. Not here to say you should or shouldn't, just here to say we should be willing to allow those choices and decisions in America. Other countries are totally different. Freedom of speech is different in the UK than it is here. Jerusalem, Israel, it appears that it is mandatory. So it's different. We're in different. We're a different country, and so our standards of freedom are much different than other countries. So I'm looking through this as a prism of an American. So the Netherlands halts the use of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. Why? Because so they won't use it until March 29th as a precaution. The Dutch government said in a statement, the announcement will lead to delays in rolling out the shots. Health authorities had scheduled around 290,000 injections. The move, which follows a similar decision by Ireland earlier in the day, is based upon reports from Denmark and Norway of possible serious side effects, the government said. So so 3 health workers in Norway who recently received the vaccine were being treated in the hospital for bleeding, blood clots, low counts of blood, platelets, Norwegian Health Authority said on Saturday. So the Dutch, they're saying we can't allow any doubts about the vaccine. We have to make sure everything is right. So it is wise to pause for now. Okay, so again, it's not an anti-vaccination situation. I think we're about to, by last count, 11 countries that are either banning or slowing the halt of the vaccinations. So again, we're a different country, but we are the bastion of freedom. Think about this. Think about things that are happening. These things are happening now. Other countries are starting to say no to the vaccine. We are seeing serious side effects. There are cases and counts of people dying or having adverse side effects to the vaccination. We know that they're out there. Now, with any drug or any vaccination, there is a risk of that. And as a populace, we agree to those risks. I understand that. In fact, that's one of the things that Dr. Wood said. That is part of the deal. When drugs and vaccinations and things are brought to the public, there's a known risk. But let me just say that this is a little bit different because this is a vaccination that is the miracle. Remember, this is the miracle that came in just a few months, 7 months, with a bunch of regulations pulled behind or case studies were allowed to be very minimal, lab studies, many things. So again, I don't want to come to a place where I'm preaching anti-vaccination or I'm preaching anything. It's just simply we need to talk about these things and we need to be open about it. And social media needs to stay the heck out of it. If there are adverse opinions, so let me ask you this: you put this on social media, Norway, Denmark, these countries are either banning or stopping or halt or slow rolling things. Is that going to be taken off, monetized? Is there going to be a banner laid out on social media sites? Probably, but it's merely just reporting what's happening. So it's just something to think about. It's just really something to think about. All right, well, let's wrap up shop here. That's Graybox Sessions for today. And we are going to close it up with go get vaccinated or not. That should be your choice. right? Hopefully hopefully that's our choice. Gray box sessions out.
Thanks for listening to the Gray Box Podcast.